Hello again, everyone. Welcome to 90s to Now. My name's Jerry Strauss. It is a special Halloween themed week episode, and we have no one better to join us here for Halloween week than someone whom we have both loved, enjoyed, been terrified of, all those things over the past 20 years or so. And she's back to do it again because the Buffy-verse is back, and she is such a big part of it. Emma Caulfield Ford is here. How are you?
Hello. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay. It's a scary week. It's Halloween, but I mean, it's so cool that we have this to talk about. Slayers, an Audible original. We're back in the Buffy-verse.
Yes.
And we're able to kind of dive back into this world that really I don't think fans have ever let go. I think that people have been living there on their own for all this time, and now you're kind of giving them new corners of that world to dive into. What's the response been like so far for you?
Oh, great. It's been overwhelmingly positive, which is, so good.
Always
It's
nice.
such a drag if they were like, this was such a waste of time. Like, God, thought they killed your character. Jesus. Yeah, no, it's great. It's been great.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And that means so much. I have to believe, because the more passionate a fan base is, the more critical they can be, right? So it's always a risk to go back to that place and have those fans come in and say, "Oh, it didn't quite hit the mark." But it seems like everyone is just loving the new directions and the new stories that you guys are telling.
I mean, that's what I've heard. What have you heard? I've same.
Heard, seen everything so positive, so just embrace, just massive worldwide embracing of this thing. So, and it seems like, it's interesting because, as a parent, I always kind of, you're always driving into your kids' heads like, oh, you don't have to necessarily watch a movie or watch a TV show. You read, and then you can kind of create sort of the imagery in your mind. And that's sort of what we're being allowed to do now with this Audible original with Slayers, as opposed to how we enjoyed the Buffy-verse before. Now we're kind of actively being a part of filling in those images, and it's now that we're all grown up, it's kind of cool. It's like fun to be able to not only to do that, but also to be able to do it in your car, to be able to kind of take this story wherever you go.
Living your car.
Well, look, hey, I'm sure there's some car accidents out there where people are having some explaining to do.
Yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely love it, and as a way to perform, like being in the sound booth is like it's my new favorite. It's my new favorite thing.
Yeah.
Tell everyone I can. I'm like, please, just like, I just want to be in the sound booth. I just want to do voiceovers and like be weird and try things. It's just it's liberating, really. So fun. And this particularly like so fun. I'm like, please let there be more seasons,
We hear that from every guest who has delved into voiceovers over the years. Of once you go in that realm, like, you never want to come out of the booth. Like, that's the kind of work that everyone seems to just not be able to get enough of, because it's so comfortable, but yet so freeing. It seems like.
Yeah, it is. It so is. Yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of a familiar scene because earlier this year we had a gentleman, pretty well, James Marsters, on the show. And of course, this is before talking about Slayers, before it was a thing. But felt that buzz, felt that vibe of announcing to our listeners and to the world at large that he was coming on the show, and the explosion of comments and questions and everything that was sent our way. The excitement around that was like a full-time job. It was amazing. So we knew it was going to be like that again for you. And it absolutely was. We have gotten people kind of chiming in and wanting to know about things past, present, future in the Buffy-verse, as well as other aspects of your career.
Mm.
To put a timestamp on this, of course, we're living through in the industry some
Mhm.
challenging times. The
Yes.
strike is still going on. So, unfortunately, I want to apologize to a lot of you who sent us feedback, sent us questions and comments. We're
I
going
can't
to have
answer any
to
of it. Sorry. Yeah, I know.
yeah, we got to kind of shelve them for now. At
Mhm.
some point, when all this is over, we'll probably come on hands and knees begging for you to come back on the show, do a sequel, and we can revisit all that stuff. Um,
I can
but
get
it's
creative. I can get creative. We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
I mean, I've had to be creative, so you know, you can try being very cloak and dagger with this. You can try to ask a question without actually asking the question and see if I can answer it without actually answering it. We'll see. We'll
This
see
could have
what
been a
I can
fun game.
do.
I
Yeah,
did all
thank you.
I have already eliminated about a large portion of the questions, unfortunately, because I could not creatively wrap my head around how we can stay safe. And we want to make sure we don't want anyone to get in trouble here. So we've sort of combined a lot of the questions to kind of fold them into talking more about the future and, of course, Slayers and everything. So
Mhm.
we're going to do okay. But just please bear with us because we're going to talk about everything we absolutely can. Before we even get to those, I do want to ask you the process of this show coming to be and how that went for you. Because, like, how far in advance did you know that this show was going to be a thing, and how easy of a decision was it for you to come aboard and be a part of it?
Oh gosh, I don't know the timeline, honestly. I feel like when Amber first asked me, I feel like I want to say that was like 2 years ago or
Mm.
a year. I don't know. Yeah, something. It's from the conversation to where I said, no, hell no, I'm not going anywhere near that show, the character, like I want nothing to do with it. Love you though.
Mm.
Um, to very quickly in her pitch going, I'm 100% on board. I'm down. Let's do it.
That's interesting. So you were converted because so in the
Sure.
beginning you
Yeah.
were done with that.
Oh yeah. I was so done. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
I asked to be killed. I have, I have a lot of fondness and well, I mean, first of all, the most important thing from that time back in the day um, were the relationships that I took from it. And those, I took the best part with me. So there's no like, there's no like deep sense of loss. It's like, well, oh man, I haven't seen these people in so long. Dang it. I sure would love to say hi. It's like, dude, you're all on my phone. I see you around. Or like Sarah, it's like, Tony, like, Seth, like all these people, they're in my life. So there's not, yeah, it's not like going to a high school reunion or something where you just lost touch with people and you're like, I think I still maybe kind of liked you. I think maybe I want to go back and see if I do, or if high school really was the show that I remember it being. And luckily, this was not in any way reminiscent of bad times,
Mm.
right?
Cool.
All the good, all
All
the
the good.
all
And
the
then
this is just all the good parts. So that was, I think I'm pretty sure I've answered this without it being, I'm
oh
not
yeah.
in trouble.
No.
Um, yeah,
If you say something wrong, I believe a lightning bolt is
it
just
just
gonna
kills me.
hit you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm instant dead. Okay,
So you're
cool.
good.
Yeah, okay.
So far so good. Um although I should note we haven't
SAG
actually
member
gotten
turns down union like, never work again. I'm like, I'm sorry.
the good thing is we're gonna capture it all live right here. We're recording, so at least
Yeah.
we have proof. But look, as we said, a lot of people, strike or no strike, just
Mhm.
so in love with this entire body of work, this
Yeah.
entire world that is the Buffyverse, and you as well. It feels like this is one of those worlds where each of each of you, every character, every performer, like you all have your own little space carved out in that world and your own fan base where people just love you, and they're so excited that you're back in that world, that you're part of Slayers, and just super excited to ask you questions specifically about you and about Anya for this. So
Okay.
um not to put you on edge too much there,
No,
but
I'm never on edge.
okay, we're gonna start out with Small Sunday 4245. This is from Reddit. Would like to know, which cast member would you most like to work with again? Now, you are working with many of the members of that cast of the
Most.
Buffyverse again.
Mhm.
Who have you been most excited to work with again, beyond just having them on your phone and being friends all these years?
Oh God, I can't. It's impossible to answer. All of them,
Yeah.
and for different reasons. I never got to really work with Juliet. Uh,
Hmm.
I did. I if I did, I don't think I did. I remember being a huge admirer of hers, and I know that I we were in the makeup trailer together one time, but I don't know why. Because I thought I watched the show one time through. I shot it and watched it one time through many years ago. So when fans are like, "Hey, do you remember when you blah blah blah?" I'm like, "Nope," but that sounds so cool. Um, I'm like, "Wow, that's no wonder people thought that was funny because that sounds hilarious." So like being in the room with her, watching her be Drusilla was like it was she was distractingly good. I'd be like, I have a line coming up somewhere. I know I do, but I'm so entranced by you. I'm like, uh, so that was just a joy. And having the character be, like I worked once with Charisma.
Mhm.
Um, so to like have those two be friends, um, again, Anya with Tara's friends, um, I have to say, like in my heart, like got giddy when I saw Tony, and to have the Anya Giles relationship's always very like near and dear to my heart. Like I love Tony so much. Um, so like, you know, the Anya for Giles love. I mean, it's pure. I'm like, let me alone. It's really like I do want to squeeze him so hard, and Anya's original sort of awkwardness of like, I'm gonna hug you, but I'm gonna hug you like is that what I do? Do I squeeze you until you can't breathe? Like, what do I do? So, whatever. And then of course Anya, James is such a delight. I just I love watching him or hearing him, like hearing him through, so close to my ear. Like I could see him in the booth, but like, like right up in here in my ears, it's a very different experience. And Anya, Anya and James have that kind of like weird flirty thing,
Mm.
which I was always a big fan of. And I was like, I think we need more of that, frankly. I just think those two would be quite hilarious
Yes.
paired up. I,
Lots of feedback about that. That some of the questions we're not going to get to today, but definitely in the past, that chemistry is something that a lot of people noticed and enjoyed and wanted your opinion on. So thank you.
I'm for it.
Yeah.
I am 100% those two being a scorching couple in some universe. There's so many. I
Yeah.
feel like for sure at some point those two are hooking up, having a very good time.
All right. Chubby Bunny Bean. Well, this is a nice diversion. No questions. Just want to tell her that she's wonderful and an amazing actress. So
Oh, thank you.
that's got to be something that, again, people just love you. Like they just, watching and listening to you now again and again and bringing this character to life. It's pretty cool how all of you have been able to sustain that sort of interest and really grow it, because now it's, I hate to say this, it's a multi-generational thing.
Oh, I understand that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that there are literally 7-year-olds and 70-year-olds loving the show. And I think that's just a testament to the fact that the stories involved are universal, they're timeless.
Yeah.
But you can get away with that in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Your benchmark, you're like, you don't have an actual historical space that you're bouncing off of that would date you in any weird way. So you can just continue to be wild and fun and have these characters explore each other.
I'm going to ask you something that that is along those lines, because when you think back to 10, 15, 20, like there was definitely a period where there was a lot of different things out there in pop culture that were fantasy romance.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest movies at the time, some of the biggest TV shows at that time, even beyond Buffy, about the Buffy-verse. But I feel like the Buffy-verse and your characters have stood the test of time in a way that people clamor for them more so than all that other stuff. Like all that other stuff was kind of very popular for its time. The Buffy-verse is popular forever. Why do you think there's such staying power to this world that you've been a part of and helped create?
We're just that awesome, obviously. I think no one wants to say, but I'll say it. No, dude, I think I don't know. I don't know what the secret sauce is. I don't know. We genuinely really like each other. When you have a natural chemistry, that I feel like that translates.
There's something to be said, I think, because we've heard it on this show time and time again. When the audience knows that performers are having fun with each other, then they have more fun watching them.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's true. The stories are universal and we all love each other, and you can see chemistry. You can feel chemistry. We've all been very public about how much we adore one another. So that's it. I don't know. And whatever else that makes that magic is, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Yeah. That secret ingredient that when it happens, it is lightning in a bottle. That's it.
That's what makes it special. Here's an interesting one, because I remember the same question was asked of James when he was on the show. And I want to compare your answers. If she had the chance to play a different role in the Buffy-verse, who would she have picked and why?
Spike.
Same answer, James, because James said there's no one else he wanted to play him more so than Spike. Okay, why Spike for you?
Because he's ridiculous. He's so. No one else could have played him but James. He's born to play that role. So like, oh, it'd be fun to play Spike. It wouldn't have been anywhere. It would have been nothing if Spike. I don't know. That character is just so unique and funny. He made him so funny without trying, even just funny, and just, he's scary, but he's also like really hot. And so you're like, the feelings around that are like conflicting, or like, why, you know, those two things shouldn't be happening simultaneously. Um, and then had a tremendous character arc as well. As just as a character, you know, watching that, getting to see that the first time around, and then working with him as that character now. You know, it's wonderful.
Spike's the guy.
You know, it would have been fun for Anya to also have been a Slayer, maybe. I think that could have been fun. I mean, Anya did have some powers, really, but only when she was really bad.
Yeah.
So Anya, as you know, just
more in that direction. Some
power. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Raz Kachar would like to know if Emma was a vengeance demon, if you were a vengeance demon in real life, who in all of history would you seek vengeance on? So we're going to find out right now, how petty is Emma today? If you could get vengeance on one person in life with those powers. Because you could do something historically significant, I'm thinking, but you could also just get revenge on that history teacher that was mean to you when you were 12 years old. Like, you know, which way do you go?
Oh, well, I feel like history took care of the bad guys ultimately, you know. You know, I mean, the most obvious one would be like Hitler.
Right. Let's you know what? Let's absolve you of that responsibility, and let's say it's someone who is still living right now. So you don't have to worry about going back in time or anything like that. Just someone out in the world right now. Let's make it about your life, because you deserve that. You deserve vengeance on someone who has wronged you. Who would that be?
I don't know. I mean, there's this one girl from middle to like freshman year high school who was particularly awful to me. And I do think of her from time to time. And I think, oh, gosh, would I not love to just mention your name publicly while accepting some amazing award and say, you know, despite your torture, or maybe because of it, I am up here. I'm not going to name her now, though. Okay. Instead, I'm going to shower her with love and light, because I think vengeance in general, vengeance requires time and planning.
Yeah.
I don't, it's a fun thing to tap into as a character, but in general, revenge, it takes, you know, I don't know, like look at Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die. It didn't work out that well for him. You know, he was just like, so yeah, I feel like my space is better spent, you know, making peace as opposed to plotting something really horrible. I mean, I don't know. Which is not to say that in the moment, if I could have gone back, like if I could time machine and be like, I have the knowledge I have now, and I have whatever I have now, you know, having lived, and I could like stand up for myself more, like what I could do in that moment. That's not really revenge as much as it's just an in the moment punch in the face, like right there. Just like, I'm sorry, what did you say to me? Puh, you know, and then you never mess with me again.
There you go. Although, you know, I don't know what that would do to the multiverse. Would we have a different timeline? Would we have you know, is it the old DeLorean road? Like, I don't know. I don't know how that would affect our reality, but it would probably be worth it. So, you know.
I think I think I'd probably still be here. I don't know. I just would have not made so many stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
You
You're
know?
here now. We got we have you. We have you again in the Buffyverse. We have you in Slayers. I want to ask get one more question in before we
Mhm.
let you go, because again, this Audible series is so, I think, in a way, putting even the concept of these Audible shows on the map in a totally different way to a totally new group of people who are really so excited about what this new kind of outlet could mean for not only new stories but also returning favorites like going back to the Buffyverse.
Mm.
So last question, what ideas are they floating around, and of course no spoilers, but what ideas are they floating around for the next Audible series, meaning the next season of Slayers, if one is in fact in the works that we all know has to happen? She was so magical, no pun intended, in the audio drama. So would she be down to do audio narration, audiobook narration beyond the Buffyverse like James does? Is that something you'd like to kind of expand your wings to do?
Oh yeah, I'm obsessed with like that medium, Audible in general. Like I working in the sound booth was one of the funnest times I've had ever in my career, and especially in, I mean, just really in recent memory. Like it was, I mean, was it partly because of the people? Maybe, yeah, sure. I mean, that's a big component, but also just it's so freeing. I love it. I absolutely love it. I would love. Did Audible ask that question? Was that their kind way of asking if I'd like to come back in? Because yes, I do.
Play it. We need to play a little bit hard to get. Hold on a second. Don't leap into this thing.
Yes, no, I love it. I love it. I'd be in the sound booth every single day. I love it. So, and as far as there being a next season, we all desperately want that.
Mhm.
Uh, it's not up to us. It's
Yeah.
not up to Audible even.
Is
So,
there anything you can say about where you would hope, maybe different places you hope that a second season might go?
well, I
Without spoiling even the first season for those of us who haven't checked it out yet. I know this is tricky.
well, I don't think it's spoiling anything. I personally would like Anya to have her Taylor Swift moment. I would really like. I want to dive into Anya's psyche, um, in her diaries, in her journals, and you know, what mood is she in? Is she using the quill pen? Is she, well, what is she doing? And and have something to sing about. See what I did there? Yeah, I I I I just think there's a wealth of well, first of all, creative challenge for me, but also um, like really just hilarity. Like, I don't know. I really do think and if of all the characters that there are on the show, I truly feel Anya would be the most likely to have a diary full of poems and music, songs, torch
Mhm.
songs, or revenge songs, or whatever. Like, I feel like that's a natural format.
Okay.
I would
Cool.
like to see that.
I think everyone would like that.
I think some of them have to be about Spike.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do.
Spike and Taylor Swift. That's what we're shooting for in the
Right?
seasons to come. And hey,
Yes.
all you out there, of course, if you have not yet checked out this Audible original Slayers, all 9 episodes are out. Check it out, check it out, check it out. The more people who are talking about it and listening to it, the more of a demand there will be. The more of a chance there will be that we're going to hear good news soon, that we're going to have more in the Buffyverse coming soon. So fingers crossed for that. And meanwhile, we're just excited for those of you to check it out for the first time who haven't done so yet, and those who have, of course, I'm sure they're going to be listening to it again and again and again, just like they've been binging every aspect of the Buffyverse for 20 years. So we're excited to continue to watch you and Anya, and and see where everything goes. So
It's quite fun to have a someone suggested this, and I thought that was very cool. You know, to animate Slayers.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that would be cool too. You guys have been in so many different. I mean, because there's been comic books certainly that have been a part of that Buffy-verse, and continued some of those stories in that way.
yeah,
Like this world has been in a lot of mediums and been kept alive. Not to mention all the fan fiction. You know, the things that
yeah,
you're talking about, as far as you know, Anya and Spike. I'm sure that those stories have been told in very graphic detail on people's laptops all over the world many times over the last 20 years. But that's all unauthorized, by the way.
yeah,
So
no, yeah. Well, if nothing else, I think it'd be cool to also be able to have. Well, I mean, there are video clips that Audible released of us in the booth, but more like, you know, they're snippets.
mhm.
But no, I take that back. I was going to say to be able to have, you know, a visual companion of us bringing that to life in the booth, but then that wouldn't be as freeing. It's one thing to have it like, okay, we're going to record on this day, and we're going to get some behind the scenes stuff, and
Mhm.
you're prepared for that.
Yeah.
It would be another to then be like, well, we're recording you every day. Be like,
Yeah.
dang, I wanted to wear sweats and not wear makeup. Like, no. But yeah, I do like the idea of it being animated at some point. I think that could be cool.
It's a brave new world, you know, as far as being in this medium, but it's also a very familiar world that we love being back in at the same time. So
Yeah, and fun.
hopefully that ride is just starting. So you know, thank you so much for being on the show. It's the perfect time for it, Halloween week, and hopefully we will have an opportunity soon to come back, as we said, hands and knees, begging to do this again and talk about all the things that we weren't allowed to talk about today. Uh, People are waiting for it. So down the road, we're excited for all the things we have yet to talk about as well.
It'll be great. It's great.
Yes.
Fun.
All right. Thank you so much, Emma. And thank you guys for checking us out here once again on Ladies to Now. And make sure you subscribe, you share, you like, you do all the things that you do to keep us growing. And we will see you next time. Thanks, guys.